Se me nota mucho que soy española. Mejor no hablo. Let's be honest. How many times have you stopped yourself from speaking English because you thought, I don't sound right, or I don't have the accent of a native speaker? If that sounds familiar, stick around, quédate por aquí, because today we are diving deep into whether having a perfect accent really matters when speaking English. Spoiler alert, the answer might surprise you. I'm your host, Anna, and I will be your English teacher. A teacher who has decided to move away from the boring and absurd methods used in the schools and academies to teach English. Instead, I have created a unique method that will truly help you learn English without frustration. And finally, stop thinking that el inglés se me da mal. So, here's the thing. Many English learners think that the only way they'll be taken seriously or feel confident speaking in English is if they nail that perfect native sounding accent. Si consiguen ese sonido nativo perfecto del acento. Si consiguen un acento perfecto que suene como nativo. This idea comes from the belief that if I don't sound like a native, then I'm not really speaking English. But guess what? That's completely false. Let me break it down for you. Déjame analizarlo. English is a global language. It's spoken by billions of people worldwide. And the majority of English speakers are not native speakers. Think about it. You've got people from India, Nigeria, China, Spain, all speaking English, each with their own accent. Is anyone telling them they're not speaking English right? Of course not. The most important thing is communication. It's not about perfection. It's about being understood. Your accent doesn't define your ability to speak. Do you think someone in New York cares if you have a Spanish accent? As long as they understand you, that's what matters. Now, I'm not saying that pronunciation doesn't matter at all. Of course, there are certain sounds that you need to get right so that people can understand you clearly. But here's the thing. A perfect accent is not the goal. Let me tell you about Carmen, one of my students. She came to me so worried about her accent. Every time she spoke, she felt embarrassed, thinking she sounded too Spanish. She was always focused on how to sound more American, and it was holding her back. La estaba reprimiendo. Carmen's problem wasn't her pronunciation. It was her lack of confidence. She wasn't focusing on communicating. She was obsessing over every sound. But once she shifted her mindset, una vez que cambió su mentalidad, something amazing happened. She stopped worrying about having a perfect accent and focused on speaking with clarity and confidence. Now, Carmen speaks English daily at her job, and no one cares that she has an accent. A nadie le importa que ella tenga su acento. Why? Because she communicates clearly and confidently. So what you need to do is to embrace your own accent. What I want to take away from this is your accent is part of who you are. Instead of trying to erase it, embrace it. You don't need to sound like someone else to be fluent in English. Fluency is about being comfortable expressing yourself, even if you don't sound exactly like a native speaker. Accents add character and they reflect your journey. Plus, there's a beauty in diversity. English is richer because of the different accents from all over the world. So, what should you focus on? Let's be practical. Instead of chasing a perfect accent, focus on what really matters. Céntrate en lo que de verdad importa. Clarity over perfection. That's the first. Make sure people can understand what you are saying, even if you have an accent. Work on those specific sounds that are confusing, like TH or R sounds. But don't stress if they don't come out perfect every time. Number 2, confidence over correctness. If you speak with confidence, you automatically will be more engaging and easier to understand. People won't care about your accent if you are clear and assertive in what you're saying. Number 3, connection over imitation. When you speak English, the goal is to connect with others. Focus on making meaningful conversations, no mimicking someone else's accent. Anyways, we need to focus on the power of being yourself. Remember, you're not trying to be someone you are not. You're simply learning a new way to express yourself. So don't get caught up in trying to imitate a native speaker or thinking you're not good enough because of your accent. You are enough, just as you are. The conclusion is that, in the end, the question isn't whether you need a perfect English accent. The real question is, do you want to communicate effectively and confidently in English? If your answer is yes, then stop stressing about perfection. Focus on clarity, confidence, and connection. Your accent is a part of you, and it's something to be proud of. So let go of the fear and start speaking English with the voice you have. And hey, you're ready to take your English to the next level. So if you are, join me in my English Unlock experience. I'll help you embrace your accent and speak with confidence, with that confidence you've been looking for. See you there. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Viviendo in English. I hope my story has inspired and motivated you to continue on your own English learning journey. Remember, we all face challenges and frustrations, but the important thing is to not give up and to find a way to enjoy the process. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who might also find it useful. And of course, you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok that you'll have on the description of this episode. See you soon and keep living in English. Have a nice day and don't forget to smile.